Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Tab, would you please lead us?
Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have approval of the minutes, and I'm going to lump some of these together, like February 13, 14, and 15 budget presentations. I'll entertain a motion to accept those.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And budget deliberations for February 19th and the 21st. I'll entertain a motion to accept those.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the budget deliberation minutes from February 19th and 21st. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then there is the February 21st regular meeting. And I'll move that we approve those February 21st regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I believe that there are some corrections that need to be made, and it has to do with public comment.
Yes, and there are two names that need to be fixed.
Okay, all right. So we can let Jessica know who they are, and she can.
Yes. Yes, and I think we're going to take, if it's okay with the commission, to say the following people made public comment, and for a full content of their comment, please see the video available on the Jefferson County website.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be easier for Jess, and everyone can look back and see. So can I ask unanimous consent to do
fine with
that?
me.
That's fine with me.
All right, okay. So with the changes for the February 21st regular meeting with regard to the public comment, amend that with those amendments. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and the special session for February 26th and February 27th.
I'll move we approve the minutes, February 26th and 27th, 2019 special sessions.
Second, is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval of requisitions for March 7th.
I move we approve requisitions for March 7th, 2019 in the amount of $6,791. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And approval of accounts payable.
I think Stephanie had something to say.
Commissioner Knoll, I just want to highlight one thing, that the requisition is the new PO. So
Okay.
once you approve it, it becomes a purchase order, but in the new system, it's called a requisition. I just wanted to note
Okay.
that change. It's because of the new system. Now that you've approved it, it will become a purchase order, and it'll
And
go
we
through
don't
the
have to
system.
approve it again, right?
No, you're
Okay,
good.
It's already
Yep.
been approved. Okay, thank you. Okay, approval of accounts payable for February 28th, and in the amount of $1,979.59. I'll make the motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And accounts payable for March 7th, 2019.
I'll move approval of accounts payable March 17th, 2019, total amount $530,833.94.
Second, okay. It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And down to manual checks, and Josh brought up a question about this morning earlier, and it has to do, there are manual checks, and then there's a special check.
Yes.
So would you explain that?
I can.
Okay, good.
Let me look at it here.
Okay.
So the special check, Day Report had not received a check from the state of West Virginia for their reimbursement from the grant. So what I did was to give them part of their quarterly allocation early in the amount of the check that was missing.
Okay.
We have since located that check, so when they get their quarterly allocation in April, it will be minus this. So they typically get 37,000 and some change for their quarterly allocation. It will be 37,000 minus this 10,913.49. So we issued a special check for that, so that they would be able to make their payroll. So,
Okay, so, do we need to approve that separately?
yes, I would approve it separately because
Okay.
it's outside, it's part,
outside.
it's budgeted, it's just, we gave it to them before they get the quarterly allocation.
Okay.
So I would approve it separately.
All right, thank you. So I'll move that we approve manual checks for March 8th in the amount of $6,050.22.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And approval of the special check number 81390 in the amount of $10,913.49, and I'll move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. And now we're down to payroll.
All right, I move we approve payroll for February 21st, 2019 in the amount of $256,590.52.
I'll second it. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and are there any announcements this morning?
I do not have any announcements.
Okay. So we will move on then to recognition of a longtime employee, Janet Collier, for her 25 years of service. Obviously, Janet's been around a lot longer than a lot of us have. I remember her when she came to work for the county, and she's always been very dedicated, loyal, couldn't do enough for you, and I think that she deserves recognition for her years of service and dedication and loyalty to the county. And so we have something for you.
So this is a resolution of the County Commission. Whereas Janet Collier has served Jefferson County government since 1994, and whereas she has served the Jefferson County Maintenance Department with hard work and dedication, and whereas she has reached a significant milestone and is an invaluable member of the maintenance team, and whereas she has provided unparalleled dedicated service and made a difference. Therefore, be it resolved upon Janet Collier's milestone, the County Commission of Jefferson County commends her for her 25 years of service, and the County Commission would like to thank her for her dedicated service to Jefferson County. Dated this day, March 7th, 2019.
Congratulations. So do we want to get a picture of Janet with her certificate, her resolution?
You are the star.
You are the star, that's right. And congratulations, Janet, and thank you. Thank you for all your. Thank you. Thanks for sticking around so long. You know, you become like family when you work together in the same courthouse, with the same agencies, and so many people that have been here for so long. You become like a family. So it's just recognizing, the least we can do is recognize them for their years of service and to say how much we appreciate what they've done and what they continue to do.
Well, she started off in Cleveland, she worked her way up.
I know she did. Yeah,
Quite a part of the
yeah,
office staff.
absolutely, yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Keeps you on track, doesn't it?
You already had control
Yeah,
now,
that's what I was thinking. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, guys.
Okay, we're down to public comment, and we have a few people signed up to make public comment this morning. And the same rules apply, 3 minutes, please, and the timer will buzz when your 3 minutes are up, and then we'll move on to the next person. The first person on the list is Nancy Gregory. Good morning. Good morning.
I just have a couple of things to say. So, Executive Director Nick Deal of the JCDA has been making decisions without oversight since November 7th, despite the fact that members have been trying to meet since early December. I would like to, I know you can't answer, I would like to know what this is about, and is it any wonder that the citizens have lost trust in the process and in elected officials who allow this to occur? Second point, Jefferson County is at a crossroads. Do we permit Rockwell and then other heavy industrial factories that would inevitably follow, or do we say no to Rockwell and other polluting industry in favor of light industry and maintaining the integrity of our unique county? The information about the environmental and health risks from Rockwell is clear and undeniable. So why are our officials continuing to make decisions that support Rockwell and put our county at risk? It appears that the fear of being sued is at the source of many of these votes. I recently spoke with one of our county officials who expressed his strong thought that Rockwell would not litigate if their plan for building the factory here was foiled by the officials. It would make national, international news. How ridiculous this company would look. A $2.5 billion company suing Jefferson County, West Virginia, the school board, and the county commission. West Virginia, one of the poorest states in the U.S. Reputation matters to this country and to this company and to Denmark. It was also called to my attention that the reason for there not being more articles in small papers near some of their other plants. Rockwell puts a lot of advertising money into these small papers, and then the anti-Rockwell facts and articles decrease. Rockwell divides communities. Does this scenario sound familiar? It was described, if I was to describe in one word how I have felt since hearing about Rockwell coming here, it would be betrayed. Not by the people who unwittingly got us into this situation, but the ones who continue to make decisions that support Rockwell and work against the environment and health of Jefferson County citizens. Please take the risk, do the right thing, stop Rockwell, and stop the betrayal. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to talk about the JCDA. I hope that you will examine, and I'm sure you have, carefully the credentials of all the candidates for the JCDA. But I want to talk about two in particular this morning. Mr. Mason said he was a board member of the WVU Manufacturing Extension Partnership. This board is not as helpful or as harmless as it may sound. It has direct connections with the West Virginia Manufacturers Association, which was recently instrumental in having the water quality of West Virginia's rivers and streams lowered. The WVMA also is fighting hard to get the Mountaineer gas pipeline here. Another group that is a strong partner with the WV Manufacturing Extension Partnership, is the West Virginia Development Office. This is the state office that started the whole Rockwell mess and continues to push for its completion. The second person that I wanted to discuss is Mr. Cade, who identified himself as an executive with First Energy. First Energy will profit from every project brought into this county. Commissioner Tabb asked Cade about potential conflicts of interest in his first interview, and he simply blew off those concerns. Again, the gas pipeline looms large. With the route from Pennsylvania blocked by Maryland, Mountaineer Gas will likely try to build a liquefied natural gas facility. This dangerous facility will require a large amount of electricity to cool the gas to liquid state and again to warm it back to a gas. Also, in his position at First Energy, Mr. Cade was involved early on in the discussions about Rockwell, well before any citizens of the county had ever heard of Roxol or Rockwell. That's a January 2017 meeting at the JCDA. I sent you all the minutes of that meeting. We want people on the JCDA who will work for Jefferson County, who will support the comprehensive plan. We do not want people on the JCDA who will carry water for outside entities. If the JCDA needs outside expertise, they are certainly free to consult with experts. But the board should be responsible to the citizens of Jefferson County first and foremost. Thank you.
Last week, I met a new neighbor. Excuse me. They bought their house in September and had seen the Rockwell signs, but thought it was just another one of those many political signs all over the place. Their realtor had said nothing about Rockwell. She's pregnant with their first baby, and they are terrified, worrying, losing sleep, crying. Had they known, they wouldn't have bought. Their new child will go to North Jefferson Elementary School if they stay. This is the sort of trap we're in now. Move or jeopardize our health and maybe our lives. For me, this is a life and death struggle. I hope you're listening to what the citizens of Jefferson County are saying. There's been a huge groundswell of opposition to Rockwell that says it must be stopped. Not that we want or hope that it can be, but that it must be stopped. And this commission is morally and duty-bound to do it. This commission, if you had done your due diligence, should have stopped this thing in its tracks right at the get-go. If this commission had thought of your responsibilities to the children and teachers, you would not have allowed any heavy industry right across the road from an elementary school. Health organizations, large and small, recommend strongly against this. You could have walked down the street to the hospital here and asked someone, but no, the health of the people didn't seem to be a consideration. This is a huge industrial facility. Did this commission call for input from the public at all, besides a skinny line in the paper? Did you call for any sort of special public meeting where there could be questions and answers between you and your constituents? Did you call for a referendum like we had for slot machines? No, no, and no. Maybe you didn't initiate this dangerous mess, but you didn't have to agree to it. This is why the commission is duty-bound to stop it now. This issue is the biggest one to come across your desk, perhaps ever, and must be treated with the seriousness that it deserves, not as business as usual like it has been up to now. The task of stopping Rockwell will require time and money. Now is the time for this commission to take responsibility for and correct the mistakes that were made. You must act with vigor and resolve. Thank you.
Mary Reed.
Good morning. Good morning. And thank you for hearing us. I gave you all a DVD the last time. Did anybody get to watch this or see it?
I've seen it on Netflix.
I've seen it already before.
How many have seen it? Sure I have. Okay. Well, I did give you one. If you want one, I'll give you this. Just come to me. It is The Devil We Know, and it's about the DuPont.
Okay.
I didn't get to finish what I wanted to say, but so I'm going to say this first. After this settlement for over 3,000 people, that was $671 million that DuPont paid out. Their response was, we did no wrongdoing. And that's what corporations come up with. The lawyer Rob Billett was a corporate lawyer, and he defended people, and he was happy with what he was doing for corporations. But after doing this case, he does not do corporate. He does not serve corporations anymore. After the first, the film does talk about Tenet, Wilbur Tenet, at his, I told you before, his cattle. He had over 153 cattle die from the spill from the property next to him. And after that settlement, which is non-disclosed, Robert Billett didn't stop there. He was angry about what had gone on. And during that case, so just to let you know, it started in the summer of 1999. DuPont's lawyer informed him that DuPont would get 3 veterinarians chosen by DuPont and 3 chosen by the EPA, protection. And they went to his farm, and their report was this, that Wilbur Tennant did poor husbandry. There was poor nutrition, inadequate veterinary care, and lack of fly control. In other words, the tenant didn't raise their cattle right. Well, you know that was not the case since they settled because of the disposing chemicals. And I've said this many times, I do not really trust anything a corporation tells me.
Thank you.
At least I got the one part in. Thank you. Anybody want this?
We've got them.
Yeah.
There's 2 on.
Thank you.
If you, I mean, you can take that one too.
Ruth Hatcher?
Or you can go to Netflix.
It's very cold out there today, and it was very cold yesterday. So I just want to remind you, on a very cold day, the smokestack is going to go sideways, and it's called a fumigating pattern. And the cold air above is like a lid on a pot. It's going to keep it where it lower. It can't go higher because it just traps it. So this is what is going to happen to our school children across the street. They will be fumigated, literally, by all those toxins coming out of those smokestacks, and also the residents. And you need to, I'm going to give you this copy. I have other copies, but this shows you what's going to happen. Our study's done how many cold days we have, how many days it's going to rain, how many days it snows. This is going to happen for real, because this is the one up here at Martinsburg, which I've showed you before. So I want you to think about it today. That's what really happens. Did Rockwell say this is what's going to happen, a fumigating pattern? Probably not. And number 2, there is a scientific symposium on air quality and health, which you probably already know. It's April 27th. It's all day. I'm going to leave this with you. It's very important. Every single one of you are invited to this. And my husband and I went to Johns Hopkins Nodule Pulmonary Clinic last week. And I gave the doctor a list of all the toxic emissions coming out of the smokestacks. He read them out loud, had a very disturbed look on his face. And he goes, why would anybody build this next to people? This needs to be far, far away from people. And he was upset. You could tell it in his eyes. He was mad. And then he goes on, he starts to examine my husband. And then he pauses for a few moments. And then he says, oh, by the way, they're going to poison your water too. This is a very old story, just like my sister just said about DuPont. This is what they're going to do. They're going to come in, poison us, poison our people, poison our children, poison everything, our farmers' crops, and we're going to be left with a big mess, and then they're going to leave. Who's going to be responsible for that? You guys are. You need to step up to the plate. You were bamboozled, and you need to do what you need to do to stop this plant, please. I am begging you, each and every one of you, and you certainly don't want to be remembered as the Jefferson Carcinogen Committee, do you? Do you want to be called Jefferson?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Denzel Howard? Denzel Howard?
Oh, I have no comments at this point.
Oh, okay.
All right. David Tab?
Morning, David Tabb, Jefferson County resident. I just got asked a question a little bit ago about public comment and whether it made a difference or not. It does make a difference. For one, it's supposed to be put in the court or in the record of the county of this meeting of what occurred. Even though it's not happening the way it used to, that is being challenged. So, to everyone out there, public comment does matter. It may not make a difference right now, but it is a form of an official record of what the county, residents, taxpayers have said and asked for. And it can be brought forth, which according to what the document here is, some 8 or 9 lawsuits that y'all got against you. It's not reducing, it's increasing. Just a thought. Tax office, how's that coming? I stopped again yesterday. How would you like to be collecting millions of dollars over plastic card tables with paper draped on them, working out of boxes with an open cash tray? What a shame. It's on all of you. You got other places with bulletproof glass and everything that doesn't even take money. This is unacceptable. Another issue. I was set up last week. Literally. Vandalism. DEP drove clear from Charleston to my place to check on a toxic spill. Luckily, the sheriff's department assisted me and was there first and started questioning them how they knew about it before I did. This is far from over. The DEP was aimed at me, and I at them. This is far from over. Rockwell is only a small piece of it. You people need to get your act together. I'm serious. This is beyond just talking about it. The lawsuits show it. And for another deal that I've been working with, did you understand that the school board for the 17-18 year collected $3.2 million more than they were supposed to get? The state attorney or the auditor has turned a blind eye for the pilot program in lieu of what they have. Y'all have a nice day.
All right, moving on to the first item on the agenda is Angie Banks. Angie is here for a split ticket and exonerations.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, I'll do the apportionment first. Let's see. This is ticket number 317667. John Wilbert. His part of the ticket will be the 2017 Mazda, assessed value $12,200. His tax amount is $286.65. Sarah Wilbert got the 2015 Nissan Pathfinder, assessed value at $10,500. Her portion of the ticket is $246.71.
All right, I move we approve the split ticket number 317667 as outlined by the county assessor.
Second. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Now the exoneration.
This next one is an exoneration. It's in our 2018 land book, Shepherdstown District. The homestead was erroneously removed from parcel, Shepherd Sound District, parcel 8A, well, that's map 8A, parcel 65. The assessed value is $20,000. The tax amount is $234.96, and the applicant is Charles F. Riley, ticket number 28908.
I move we approve the exoneration ticket number 28908 as presented by the assessor.
Second, is there discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Angie, before you go, I'm just going to pass something on from Pancake Days. Doug Starlipper, over pancakes, was asking me questions. I don't have a real recollection of what it was, but beware, I probably referred them to you.
Okay, no problem. I saw a lot of people at Pancake Day.
Yeah.
It was fun. A lot of county employees.
Yeah.
Yes, it was nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're a little bit ahead of time for the 10:10 appointment. I don't think the magistrates are here yet. Okay, so let's go to legislative updates. Stephanie, do you have anything?
Sort of.
Sort of. I know. It's
So,
kind of
we talked about a House bill that would allow the counties to retain the state's portion that currently goes to the state for the transfer tax. And that would be phased in over 10 years, so the county would keep 10% more every year until they're keeping the full amount. That passed the House, but did not get out of the Senate, so it's not this year. And then there was a bill that was directed at marketplace facilitators for the hotel motel tax. Pretty much Airbnb. And basically, it just would require the marketplace facilitator to collect the tax at the point of sale. That passed the Senate unanimously, but died in the House. The House committee would not put it on the agenda. And I just want to talk to you about that for just a second, because I started to do some research to try and help Annette Gavin get that bill through. And so in some states have already passed legislation like this. So there has been an argument by Airbnb that their platform doesn't support the additional tax, but they're already going to have to make those changes. What I want to talk to you about is in Wisconsin, they already collect the tax for the state of Wisconsin and for the localities who have a tax. So there's a state, in West Virginia, there's a state tax, and then there's a local tax. And we think right now, based on Airbnb's numbers, we're missing out on about $1.2 million in tourism dollars between state and local governments. However, Wisconsin thought that they would get $700,000 when Airbnb began collecting the tax for the state. And in the first year, they received $2.5 million, more than 3 times that amount. That's just for the state. So I believe that the Airbnb market will continue to grow, and I'm going to quote the commissioner to my left here. I think a lot of millennials prefer the Airbnb to a hotel. So not only are we missing out on the dollars, they're taking the dollars away from hotels. And I'm not here to decide whether hotels or Airbnbs are better. But as they take the business from the hotels, we continue to lose more and more money. So I think that's something we need to focus on with our legislators coming forward, because we're missing, that money goes directly to tourism, and Airbnbs benefit from that money, because you don't want to stay at a place unless it's marketed, and people have to want to come first. So not only are they not collecting the tax, they're a direct beneficiary of the tax. And it's giving them a competitive advantage, and it's something they're not contributing to. So I think that's something we want to keep our eye on and maybe bring up with our legislators the next time we meet with them. Because looking at around the country, it looks like the numbers are even more than they're estimated to be. It's 3 times more in Wisconsin.
Stephanie, let me ask you a question, and I'm no expert on Airbnbs, but Airbnb is a separate company, isn't it? It's not a franchisor, but it's sort of the platform
Yes.
or whatever.
They're a marketplace facilitator. So if I want to stay somewhere, I go. It's basically people who rent out a room. Some people rent out their entire home, a portion of their home, their apartments.
But is there a competitor to that? I just, we use
Yeah.
the term Airbnb, and I just want to make sure.
Yes,
it's
there are,
covered.
so there, I mean, there are lots of, there's like VRBO, there's lots of different ones. I think Airbnb is the most well-known.
well-known.
Yeah, but there are other marketplace facilitators like them. And it wasn't just, Airbnb is the biggest one, and, you know, based just on their numbers, that's what we're losing for Airbnb, not on the VRBO, none of the other facilitators. So they're the most well-known, and, Airbnb solution has been to say, well, let's just give you, we'll just pay you a fee. But if you use Wisconsin as an example, they would have accepted $700,000 when they were entitled to $2.5 million. So I just don't think that that's a workable solution.
My son's going to have a question. How's that affect couch surfing? Because couch surfing, there's no fee.
Okay.
You promised.
I'm not familiar with this concept.
I'm not either, actually. It's worldwide.
Uh-huh.
It's, you promised to let people use your living room.
Uh,
If you go to Europe, you can use their living room, and my son does that. There's no
Interesting.
money, but I'm just wondering how that fits in.
I think that we haven't even, I mean, we're still trying to catch up to the Airbnb, so I don't think we've even thought about that model. So,
I know some local people that have actually done that.
interesting.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that was the term. Yeah.
I'm sure there's more terms than I
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. Well, we'll have to work on that next year.
Yeah.
When we have our
Yeah,
legislative.
it's not, I mean, 50% goes to tourism, and then some of it goes to, here anyway, our local share goes to Parks and Rec, historic landmarks. So it's not, most of it goes to tourism, but it's not just tourism that they're missing out on. It's some other, local boards that are funded that could really use that funding. And it's not really a tax on our residents, it's, a tax on people who stay here or who visit here. So I just think it's really important, and we made a last-ditch effort to really try and push that through, and it just didn't happen, so.
I got last year too. It
Yeah.
didn't get anywhere
Right.
last year.
Yeah,
At
so
least
it's-
it got through
yeah.
through the Senate.
It did, it was unanimously passed in the Senate. And that's really all I have, because honestly, I haven't had a chance to,
Wild session.
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Okay, let's go back to the agenda. I see the magistrates are here. Good morning. Come on down. Magistrate Buber and, Magistrate D'Angelo, our new magistrate, is here this morning.
And Magistrate Rissler took her grandson away for his senior spring break.
Good for her.
Just move the chair up.
How are you?
Good.
Good, just fine.
Pass those around.
Are you having fun yet?
So far.
Good. Well, you should know how much fun you're going to have.
She does. She does, trust me.
They're sticky, Ralph. I'm trying to get it out.
Okay, this morning, we're here to request the space for an additional courtroom. As you can see, I had the bailiff run some numbers. From January 1st, 2018 to January 31st, 2019, over 20,000 people came to our building. Out of that 20,000 people, 3,000 was there for the circuit judge, for circuit court. I think you can see where the numbers are. The numbers are also broken down where 9,600 were there for the clerk's office. And that would be for filing of civil, traffic, domestic, and 7,400, over 7,400 were there for court. So the three of us are seeing 1,425 people per month. We're over 800 cases today from where we were this time last year. And that's only misdemeanor and felony. It's not civil, it's not juveniles, it's not anything else. And the numbers here, we have an issue. Magistrate Rissler is talking about possibly retiring early, which means we'll have a new third magistrate. That being said, we were fortunate that Magistrate D'Angelo knows the system and is up to speed and can take off running. If we get a third person, they're going to need a full-time courtroom because it's going to take them a lot longer to do what needs to be done. And quite frankly, right now, we need the third courtroom because we each have 2 weeks. The third week, we can't schedule court because there's not a courtroom.
Quick question. Does anybody know what's going on with that fourth magistrate they were talking about? Is that dead?
I think it's dead.
It's dead,
It
okay.
didn't get very far. Yeah.
But it still could come back because we all know things tend to come back.
Then we're hoping.
Well, and I don't,
actually need one.
yeah, I don't have any question that you need another magistrate. We've had 3 magistrates since 1985. And so there's no question that you need another magistrate. So that's not an issue as far as I'm concerned. As far as the space is concerned, I mean, the space is apparently allocated. I don't know that it's been allocated yet.
It's been sitting unused.
Well, it's been sitting unused, but there hasn't been, there hasn't been anything, we realize that we're going to have to do it. Here's part of the problem. I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. You get the Supreme Court to help pay for renovation of the space, and we'll do whatever we can to help you get another, I will, I don't know about other magistrates.
And I have a question. Did the Supreme Court help pay for the third floor that was renovated
They
for
don't
the
have
circuit
to.
judge?
They don't have to.
And they don't have to for us?
Yes, they do.
Well-
$6 per square foot, right? $6 per square foot is what is supposed to be.
I think she's referring to the collection, because we're 2 years behind, I think, on your rent.
But that being said, we had a deputy clerk who was part-time worthless check and part-time collections. When she sent out reminders, we collected a couple of $1 million.
Are you talking statewide? Statewide, right?
I'm
No,
just
just for
talking
this
just for
county.
Jefferson County. I'm talking, and I sent you
Was a
the,
pilot program.
I got it.
and I sent you the information that said if there was somebody that, technically it's the prosecuting attorney's responsibility to collect. It's not the magistrate's. I'm not sure if you all have talked to the prosecutor about that or not. But if somebody were there 2 days a week and sent out reminders, you're going to see it's coming up. We can't keep our head above water with the number of staff that we have now. So if somebody can pay, if the county wants to pay somebody a couple of days a week to come over there and do it, then you're
What
gonna.
you're referring to, Gail, is the actual base rent for the.
Yeah.
And what I'm talking about is it comes out of the fines and the costs. It actually comes out of the costs.
Well, it's supposed to come out as the budget for the Supreme Court, because that's what they're paying for to get your space.
It's,
But, and I'm not blaming you all, it's, they're they're 2 years behind. And I don't know who the administrator down there who's supposed to be in charge of it anymore.
His name is Joe Armstrong. He's the acting administrative director.
To contact him to tell him that.
But we've assessed the fines and the costs. I bet there's $100 million sitting over there that's uncollected. And that's a low figure.
The good thing now is they can attach.
Right.
The income tax.
Yeah, after
They
a year,
can-
they can attach income tax, which will increase it. But I have a question about the allocation of the space. When we lost the third floor courtroom, and it was taken away from us, did our rent go down?
we're not charging you for the full rent.
Oh, that's
We're
what I
only
was
charging
wondering.
you on we are not even, we are only charging you for what you had years ago. We're not, it doesn't even include what we've expanded.
It comes out of the fines and costs.
It's supposed to.
It's supposed to come out of the fines and costs. We assess it, it's not being collected. That's the bottom line. People are not paying. Their license, when they don't pay by a certain date, there's a form that's sent to DMV, and their license is suspended. They don't care. They don't care. They just keep driving.
Well, I think, you know, I mean, I understand where you are. You know, I've been there. And
It's a lot different now than when it was then.
There is no question that it's a lot different now, and I know it's a lot busier. There, you know, with all of the opioid crisis that we've been under, and it's contributed to a lot of more crimes. And so I know you're a lot busier than you were when I was there, and you still have the same number of magistrates. So I understand that you need another one. But
We're not even talking about that now. We're talking about the space for the third courtroom. And I thought Bill said that it would take minimal amount of work to do.
And that there was grant money available, or that had been allocated to improvements that had been.
You can apply for grants. You can apply, yeah, I don't know.
No, you said there was capital improvement funds.
That's not grant money, though, that's just what's in our
No,
grant
no,
money.
I misspoke.
Okay.
But he said there was plenty of money to do it that had been sitting there waiting until it
I
could be
don't think that's
approved.
quite
I don't
accurate.
think that's,
That's what he said.
We've got two problems. One, we need to work on finding the space, which you need. The other thing is, we have to find the money to do it. I mean, that's the bold facts. I mean, you know, we just did a very tight budget. And
Well, the
and that's
space
some
was
of-
circuit court, and so they took out the upstairs.
We can't talk about what has happened.
Right.
We got to figure out how to find a third courtroom for you. We know we have some unused space, but we got to figure out how to finance making it work.
And Bill said that because they did the work upstairs, that Dean did it, it saved money. And
That's
he
right.
said that it would take a minimal amount of money to make the changes that needed to be made for the third courtroom.
now I thought, was that the last meeting?
No,
Was
that's
that when you were here before?
No, that's when
That's
we-
when you, because I thought we were talking about the fourth magistrate's
No,
space.
we are talking
Oh, no,
about.
that would be over on the other side.
I know, yeah, that's what we were talking about, actually.
Right.
So
I
let
don't
me
think
ask
anything
you,
would have to be done over there to, not a whole lot.
he said it would be
Minimal.
minimal over there to add another.
And he
another-
told us it
Did
would
he
be
give you
minimal for
the-
the third floor.
Did he give you the plans for the second floor? where it would
We
be?
have had those, yeah, we've seen those.
down
It's been a
A
while.
few walls is basically in building the bench.
Right,
This
right.
way.
Well, is there any reason you can't use the third floor courtroom when the judge isn't here?
Yeah,
What is it?
we can't schedule court because the judges pop down and you have no idea. So
Well-
you've got 5 felonies and the other
recording
thing,
equipment.
the recording equipment and the computer system's not there.
Why can't it be put there? Is there any reason why it wouldn't be able to be
Can't
added?
schedule court on the third floor because we have no idea when they're coming.
Well, can you communicate with them and find out? I mean, I think that would be a logical, that court,
It
I
would
know
be
that
lo-
room is not being used all the time.
It's not, but you're talking about.
I mean, if you're in that dire of straits to have another courtroom, in my,
Those get involved.
I would, yeah, you're just gonna have to, you're gonna, until we can get something done, you're gonna have to talk with the judges to see when you can schedule and.
But
I
then
mean,
they're controlling our dockets, and scheduling the docket and getting attorneys there, which is why we open at 7:30 in the morning, to avoid attorney conflicts.
I mean, there's that option. That's the only thing I can say, is that option's available. And I understand you would have to make a phone call to the circuit judge to see what their schedule is and when they're planning to come down and schedule that room to be able to use it.
But if they show up with an emergency, it's their courtroom, and we get bumped, and we've got 30 cases.
You have to
It's
talk to them
happened,
about that.
but it's happened.
Well, there's a smaller courtroom that they could use down there on the second floor? That used to be the
No, we
family
use
court.
all of those.
The family courts, well,
we
I
use
mean,
that
I
too.
don't know what else to tell you in the
Have you all,
meantime.
Here's my question, go ahead, you're fine, go ahead.
I was going to say, And I'm not going to defend the magistrates, but I have noticed at certain times, one of the magistrates has used the bench in the hallway for court.
Right.
So it
Yeah,
does
that
happen.
works real well.
I don't, so there is
I
a
wouldn't want that
problem
to
at
happen.
times. Now,
I
I don't know.
understand,
The,
Do they share in other counties? Do they share circuit
No.
courtrooms in other counties?
Have
But every
either-
magistrate doesn't have their own courtroom in other counties.
How many commissioners have been to our building and looked at the space lately?
No,
It's
but how
been a while.
lately?
It's been a couple months since I was over there.
But did you go through it? I know you were
I've
there
been
for
through-
meetings.
Yeah, and I've been
Have-
through the second floor.
I haven't been recently.
Yeah.
It's been a few months.
I've been a few months also. My question is, you say minimal cost. What is the definition of minimal cost?
Ask Mr. Polk.
$2,000.
Okay, so it's
I'm
all
sorry,
said and
what was
done,
it?
50.
Plus Dean's salary.
Okay, so I
And,
mean,
and the other,
What
the
was,
other
what was
people.
it?
50,000.
Really?
so that's what I'm looking for here. I mean, minimal
That's it,
is
we've gotta
fine, but
find
what's
that.
minimal?
And that's the
That
issue
seems
that we're
high to me.
facing.
So
Yeah,
I think
is
we
that
need
his
Bill maybe to
estimate?
come in here and let us know his thoughts on what price range it is. Because we're hearing 50 now, what if it's 100? I don't know. I need a dollar figure.
Right,
Once I have that
right.
number, maybe we can look at other avenues to approach this. But clearly you guys need something done. It's just, understand us, we have the financial considerations that have to be taken into account. So let's get a number from Bill, maybe at the next meeting as quickly as possible and see where he's at. I don't know if is he on the agenda today?
We'll
No,
reach
it's not.
out to
Well,
the
and
Supreme
then-
Court too, but you know
I
how
will.
it's such a mess
Yeah.
down there right now that
I know it is.
everybody leaving and
Nobody knows anything.
what's
Yeah.
going on, unfortunately.
Why don't we get Bill in here next meeting and discuss the price ranges or issuing some sort of RFP just to see what it comes back as?
That's a good idea.
Thank you.
Because
That's
50
all.
seems a little high to me.
I mean, what if it
Just
comes back at
based on
30?
what-
So-
It could come back even less than
Yeah,
that, quite
so-
frankly.
Until we know, it's just, we're all throwing numbers out in the blue and
Yeah, we have.
And we don't want to do that, but we just wanted to, technically on the record, what the issues are.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
thank you. Rhonda Eddy, good morning. For approval of a community corrections grant.
It's that time of year again to apply for our community corrections grant, but I do have a couple announcements to make. We received a couple awards recently, and they are due in part because of a lot of the support that you've provided to the program. We are receiving an Innovator Award through the Addiction Policy Forum, and we were selected, our program was selected, and there'll be a award ceremony at the Charleston Marriott Town Center, March the 26th. We're real proud of this award. We're being recognized along with some other very prominent programs in the state, Recovery Point and Lily's Place. So, and the West Virginia, or the National Addiction Policy Forum is based in Washington, D.C. It's a nonprofit organization that the state reached out to review several programs throughout the state for recognition. We also received the Judge Martin Goggin Award for excellence in community corrections programs, and that will be awarded in July. And some of the things that they look at when they're awarding this recognition is the intake risk and needs assessment, the services that we provide, reentry and aftercare, program evaluation, the administrative performance of the program, the use of an active criminal justice board, and innovative efforts like we've done with telehealth, quality assurance, and program leadership.
That's awesome.
So this year, we're requesting $157,864 in community corrections funds. We received $140 last year. I'm hoping that we'll be able to receive more money this year because they're going to base the grant awards on the CPC assessment, the correctional programs assessment that we went through. I think we were one of the first programs to be assessed. And our score was high, so that will be
there'll be a lot of weight placed on those scores when they do grant awards this year. So and then along with this grant application, the commission agrees for the president to execute the documents. So there's a resolution that will be signed along with the grant application. So I'm not sure which one you want to vote on first, the resolution.
Well, before we vote, I want to, I don't have a copy of the resolution, I mean the grant, which is fine, because I know it's a big document. I just want to ask, are there any required matching funds or anything that we would be signing for? I want to know up front.
There are matching funds, and those come out of our budget allocation that you provide for us.
Okay.
So there's no additional money.
That's what I want to be clear on, yeah.
So you need two motions then, I guess. One for approval of the community corrections grant, and the submission deadline is April 1st. Is that, are they two separate things?
The deadline for the grant, I think, submission is, I think, April the 6th or 3rd, maybe.
It says 3rd, yeah.
3rd,
Third,
okay.
oh, yeah, that's whatever.
We're getting ours in early this year, so.
So I'll move that we approve the community corrections grant as outlined by Ms. Redd.
Second.
For discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then you need to authorize the president to sign the
Yes.
resolution for the community corrections grant. Okay. So I'll move that we authorize the commission president to sign the resolution approving the community corrections grant.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you.
Want to sign these
I'll do
documents?
it right now. Sure.
This is the resolution that was voted on by the county clerk.
Oh, okay.
And then this is the grant application. And that goes with the resolution.
Okay.
And I hope I don't forget any of them when I may be calling you later on.
That's fine. I'll be-
I try to get them
I'm not
all, but
going
there's so
anywhere.
many of them. And then these are the standards and conditions. They give you the authority to sign.
Yep.
And then these are the conditions and assurances.
Okay. Right, that's it. That's it. All right. They're just in reverse order of the way you gave them to me. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, is Lynn here? Lynn's not here yet? Okay, we could either take an early break, or we can, I don't know that we have enough time to do anything before. Yeah, let's just take a break. We'll be back at 10:35.